the last of these warp-in ships. And now Sutee has the advantage with having a larger fleet on the field. And we'll see what he does after taking out this ambassador. Now, we can see that this ambassador is probably just toggled his special and has now taking much less damage. Unfortunately, the ambassador is rather slow compared to these Reigns, and it's still going to be able to take him out. But you can see the damage that it was done to his expansion. It took it out. Well, it didn't take it out, but he's no longer mining from there, and he lost several ships. So that'll be costly to replace. And we do see Sutee following this ambassador, and he's looking to move into Mort's expansion. And that ambassador, oh, so close to home, but again, not close enough. And so here we have Sutee back on the offensive into Mort's expansion. And it looks like he's just going to have an easy time of it. Yeah, and that warp-in timer is still another minute away. And Sutee is definitely taking the time to blow this place out of the sky. And yeah, those miners need to just get out of there. Save them for another day, because they're not going to do any good dying. So you can see, though, on the minimap that Mort is bringing up some sabers. I really don't see... They're not really going to do much but give these Reigns some extra experience, unless he can hold them off for just a little while longer. Oh yeah, and Sutee is even bringing in more reinforcements too, instead of just retreating. He's holding his ground here. He is definitely looking like he's not giving up on this attack. And those sabers were just, experience givers to his Reigns. Even though Mort down here is producing them out of 2 star bases, they're just not going to go toe-to-toe with those disruptor Reigns. And that's an interesting odd turn. Those freighters are going to attack Sutee's fleet. I don't know what they're going to do. Mine on him a little bit? Obviously a little bit of miskeying there. But it's in the minimap. You can see that there's a constructor making its way through the Matura Nebula. And a warp-in's coming on to Sutee's base and back into Sutee's expansion. Now, this looks to be a proxy platform. We could very well see... we'll see what he does with this. He's definitely... His warp-in is scared away the mining ships, and so he's not going to be mining in here, but he's, again, sacrificing a warp-in. I'm not really sure why he keeps doing this. He's just losing ships. He really needs to be gathering his warp-ins and saving them and composing a fleet. But Sutee here doesn't seem to want to trail them too much, and he's just choosing instead to take out the sabers. And I don't know why. Well, we know why Mort's doing this. He's just trying to keep them out of the proxy platform. And they are at least distracted, and it's very likely that Sutee didn't see that constructor. He's probably just out of sensor range, and so this distraction, while costly, might actually be worth it. We'll have to see. He's repairing everything now, finally, and this first platform is about to be done, and it'll definitely give Mort a staging ground into this expansion. But here Sutee is back in Mort's expansion, trying to finish off the job. And over here we see some Griffins going, and the sensor jammer is about halfway done. So we'll be seeing that in effect here shortly. And so the job that the earlier raid on this expansion has now finally won, because you can see Mort is decommissioning things, and so he's given up on this expansion for the moment. At least try to save some dilithium, get a little something out of it. And there goes the last freighter, and the last mining station is being decommissioned. Now here we are, we're on platform number 2, and this is going to give Sutee something to think about now that he's got something pounding on his back door. but really, Mort doesn't have a strong fleet at the moment. He's got a number of sabers, but against those rains, I don't think there's just not enough of them. Those disruptor rains will eat those sabers, especially in the numbers that we're talking about here. And there is Sutee. He's just recently found out about his friends in the back of his base, and there is the second platform. That's going to make things a little bit more difficult for Sutee. While these platforms don't do a heck of a lot of damage, they are definitely harder to take out, especially if he gets his third one up, which he's not going to. These Griffins are going to make sure that constructor is dead, and so he's only got to worry about 2. But now if Mort can just get in range of those platforms, he'll be able to utilize their strength, cover his own fleet's strength. Now it seems odd, if these Griffins seem mighty fragile. If you ever watch this here, against these rains, they just don't seem to take as much damage. And so now Mort is pressing into Sutee's expansion even further, taking things out, and I don't really see that Sutee has much of an option here. He seems to be giving up ships, even though he's not losing any yet. He is definitely making use of cloak, trying to do anything to stall this, because a single ship going into this is nothing but suicide, except for the fact that the Federation can't cloak and run, can't cloak and repair. So Sutee is making use of that as much as possible. And here we see a fleet of ships trying to take out a veteran Rain, but then again, it is able to cloak and go repair, so the losses to Sutee's forces are relatively minimal, save for his mining. Though he's not losing much offensive power, but he's definitely losing out on his base here. And there's a nice little steam runner, lovely ship as far as taking out bases, enabling its Tri-Cobalt special, just shelling the crap out of that mining station. You can see how fast that mining station's shields went down, just a matter of seconds. Finally needs to get his fleet targeting these ships and taking them out. At the moment, he's got an advantage, but he needs to press it and keep his ships together. And so it looks like he's going to try to take off the rest of those freighters in favor of taking out those mining expansions. What he doesn't see is his cloaked adversary moving in, and this is going to be painful, because we can see a couple of sensor jammers are about to be unleashed right there. And there goes the steam runners, obviously the first thing to be picked off. Those things are low defense, high offense, and so those are the things that everyone wants to take out. And here this Federation fleet is trying to get out of, trying not to die. And that nebula is becoming prime target for these Rains and those Griffins. And there goes the nebula, trying to sacrifice itself so that the rest of the fleet can go repair. Now what's a little odd here is that not all of these ships needed to be repaired, and probably could be microed a little bit to hang back and provide cover for some of those later fleets. Might have saved that nebula, might have given that fleet of 3 or 4 ships there a little bit more pause before going up and attacking this expansion. They might at least had to have gone repair. And this constructor is about to get taken out. We'll see if it does complete the mining outpost, but I don't know that was necessarily a good idea. Now that mining outpost is going to be without any defense and free to basically be a loss to Mort. If nothing else, he could have canceled it. And quick check on the warp in. We've got another minute and a half before that comes in. Another freighter on its way to being destroyed. And we're going to see if Mort can take out these Romulan ships with his fleet. He's got a couple of these sabers that are just a little bit too far ahead of the game. We'll see how well Sutee can micro his fleet and get them out of there. And it looks like very well. Just like 10% on the hull of that Griffin.